I really thought about that for a long time when I got home, because I made it home probably like, I feel like I got home at like 7 o'clock or something. Like it was sunny and I was exhausted. I was like a walking, I felt like a meth head. I was like a zombie.
Yeah. Doesn't it
And
feel weird when you're up all night to
it's
like sun up and you want to go to bed?
it's awful. And then your whole
Yeah.
schedule's fucked for days. And
Yeah.
it's just like, and I really felt that. Like I started reflecting hard after that day was over, because I was like, well, let's see, how old were we? Like I was like 28, 27.
You were, was it just before your birthday?
Yeah, it was just before my birthday. So I was like just probably 27 going on 28 maybe.
Yep. And then I would have already been 28. No, I would have been 29. Yeah.
But either way,
2019. Yeah. I would have, no, I would have been 28.
28. Okay. Yeah. So it was just like one of those moments where, like, even more so than I had before, and leading up to that event, like I was already doing a lot of like, I was going hard on a lot of shit, and I was just kind of aimless,
Hmm.
like, and so I sat there in the morning. I looked in the mirror. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, you like, is this what you want? Like, like at the, like, you're trying to chase this like feeling of like euphoria at the cost of like, what's it worth? Like,
Right.
you could have died, like,
Yeah.
and you didn't feel any better about it. Like, you're home now and you're a depressed mess. And like,
Yeah.
it took me a while for that to sink in, and I was like, if I was treating myself in the best way possible, and like if I wanted to start this life over and like do the best for myself that I could, like, where do I start? Like, what's the first thing I need to do? And at the time I was really hardcore into chewing nicotine gum,
Hmm.
which is crazy because I never really smoked that much in my life. But this all started back in Walmart because someone mentioned to me one time that you could get a buzz from it, especially if you didn't smoke.
Well, that's all it takes
And
is you
that's
can
how,
get a buzz.
yep. And that, back in that day when I was a reckless early 20 something, I was like, really? I can get a free buzz at work? Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And no one has to know, like, I'm just chewing gum. So
Yeah. It's a
that started
sneaky
me.
way.
Yeah, dude. And it started me down a horrible, horrible path. And I didn't see it. I thought it was like completely normal. But like, I was going through like packs at certain points, like packs a day. And I got so reckless with it. Like, horrible things. Like, I ran out once and I was at a convention during a weekend, and I had to like literally walk like 2 miles through a forest to find a fucking convenience store just to get more packs. Like,
Forest.
yeah, like, okay, I know there's like no
Is it out in
context.
the middle of
Like,
nowhere or something?
like,
Or?
yeah, like, so the convention was at this hotel, and then like there was like really nothing around it. It was just more like conference centers and shit. And so
Okay.
like I ran out and like I had to find a gas station somewhere, and like the closest one was like in some neighborhood like miles away,
Oh
and we didn't have
God.
a vehicle. So like my girlfriend at the time, I was like, we have to go find some gum. And we walked all the way through like this forest and through this neighborhood and finally made it to like a CVS. Like, it was bad, man. It had control of
Yeah.
my life. It literally did. And like,
That's when it's a real problem. Is
yeah,
when it
yeah.
disrupts your life like that. Like that you have to get it.
And yeah, and I never saw it that way. I was always blinded, and I was like, it's just something I do, like, it's not a big deal. And
Right.
like,
It's a lifestyle.
yeah, like, who cares? It helps me, man. It helps me wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
How it
and
usually goes. It seems like
yeah, yeah, for
it's
sure.
like
And
necessary. When you're doing it, it's necessary.
yeah, yeah. And your brain doesn't know the difference between like needing it and actually not.
Right.
Um and so like it was like, and it was expensive too. That's another thing.
I was just gonna ask you, was one sheet of like 30 or 40 pieces like a box of
Yeah.
cigarettes?
Okay,
A
so
carton?
I
As
I
they
don't
call it, a carton.
I don't know a lot about the price of cigarettes or how they're distributed, but I'll tell you, I get 100 pieces of nicotine gum, the 4 milligrams. It would cost me $60, and
100 pieces. Is that like is one a cigarette worth or
I'm not really sure how that works. I'm assuming, yeah. I abused the fuck out of it. I never used it how it was
100
intended.
pieces?
You're supposed to
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do is, I think you're supposed to start with 7 a day and then taper yourself down as the months go on. But
Yeah.
I went through them like insanely, insanely, like I
Yeah.
used them. And so like 100 sheets or 100 of them would go quickly, way quicker than you would think. And then when you would run out, you get panicked every single time. Like if I had to go to work and I was down to like 2 of them, I would panic. I'd be like, fuck, like I don't have time to go to the store. I don't have time to get more. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And so like after that event, I had some time to reflect, and it actually took a few months. It took until March for me to really decide to give it up. And I can remember the day it happened. It was we were playing Age of Empires, you, me, and Johnny.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's what you decided?
Yep. And I decided that right then and there, like, I don't know why. I don't know. It wasn't like a big moment. There was no like, this is it. This is the day. It was like, it just happened to be like, I'm going to do it this day. And what really helped me is, and I recommend this for anybody, you know, if you want to quit something or give something up or make any strides in your life to do something, get a wall calendar, mark this day on the calendar as the day you did it. And it's your anniversary date. And you can always look at it, and every month that goes by, you're making small progress, and that will build up so goddamn fast. You won't believe how much you've done as time goes on. And that's what I did. I put it on the calendar and I said, this is the day I'm going to have my last piece. I made it kind of ceremonial. I had my last piece. I put it in.
Your brain knew very well that this was the case.
Yeah. And then I gave the last sheets that I had, I gave them to my mom. And I said, keep this and don't ever let me have it again. And I never touched another piece. And I'll be honest with you, it was not easy at all. Like the first the 3 days that I started doing it, I was a fucking monster. Like I feel bad for anyone that had to be around me during those.
You're really irritable.
I was really, really irritable. I blew up on coworkers. I blew up on my family. I screamed into pillows. There was this funny, like I had this there's like this banana like fruit holder thing on our table. Yeah. And it was always poorly weighted. Like whatever you did, like for some reason, like you'd put shit in it, it would always tip over, like every single fucking time. Yeah. And like shit like that would set me off like no other. It kept falling over. And like one morning I was just like, fuck, stop this fucking thing. Like who designed this piece of shit? And I would just like throw it around. And like I was just a monster. And no matter how hard it got, though, I knew like I was never going back. Like I was like, you're in this far, like you can't go back. And I knew one day it was going to change. Like I knew one day it was going to get better for me. And I just had to keep holding on. And like I had that as a mindset. And I kept telling people, and like it was tough because when you're going through something like that, you tell people, and if someone hasn't gone through like something like an addiction or something that is like taking over your life like that, they don't necessarily see it as like I'm trying to like they'll be like, well, oh, good for you, like, oh, that's great. Like they don't see it as something. And I'm not saying like I need accolades from everybody. I don't need like pats on the back everywhere I go, but it's like people don't always understand why it's so difficult.
They can't really empathize.
Yeah, that's
they haven't been there.
Yeah,
they don't know the feelings of the accomplishment, like quitting.
Yes,
the hardship.
Yeah,
like yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So like it wasn't always easy to convey why I was acting the way I was acting. But as I made it through more and more, and this is another reason why I started working out around this time, I started becoming more active because I needed an outlet from my rage, from my energy, for just something to replace what I was doing. I needed that rush too because I lost something, and they'll tell you, a lot of people online will say it feels like grief. Like you experience real grief when you're giving something up because it was a part of your life for so long. And I can attest to that. Like having been through a lot of actual grief and having experienced this, they're really not that far off.
Really?
I really felt like I lost a friend, like, because I had associated so many moments in my life with chewing gum, and it was so weird. Like late night video game sessions. Like I'd have that like pack of gum ready. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And
Yeah, yeah. Very ceremonious.
yeah, like going on walks, like everything. It was just like an association that you're killing off a part of your brain. And it's like, this isn't us anymore. And it was sad, but eventually you get over it and each day gets a little bit easier. And, so after a year, okay, so I'll jump forward a little bit. So after a year of that, well, that was another bittersweet day because I made it a full year mark, and I was really happy that I made it that far without nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, by that point, my mom wasn't there to celebrate with me, which was unfortunate. It would have been really cool to have her around for that year mark, but it was I know she, her energy was there in her aura, and she was so supportive the whole way there. And so I made it that far, and it was awesome, and
absolutely.
So then at that point, what happened was I'll jump, I'll move this quicker because I know this could go on forever, but
no, it's okay. Just keep going,
okay,
man.
okay.
Don't rush it.
Okay. So at that point I was feeling good, but with anything in life, if you're trying to accomplish something and you get there, you're going to have that feeling once you get there that like what next kind of thing,
Yeah.
And I hit me hard among like some of the other things I was going through. It just felt like, okay, I've done this, but like something in my brain, it's like it's still not there, like I'm still not as happy and fulfilled as I could be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around then, not quite at that year mark, but a little bit, like a few months after the year mark, that I decided to quit alcohol as well, because I started to get a little bit, this was sort of during the pandemic too. Like I started abusing it a little bit harder than I should have been. And,
do you think that was because of your thoughts of like, I'm a year without nicotine and like feeling a little like this hasn't completely filled
I think so.
What was left, and then so the alcohol is, you were trying to fill it a little, or do you think that's a stretch?
No, I think that's pretty accurate to say, because it was like, and it was another thing that can easily get away from you without realizing. It was like you're feeling so good about having quit the one thing that you're just like, well, it doesn't matter if I do this a little bit more excessively because I already accomplished this one thing. Like I got that monkey off my back.
Right.
So yeah, for sure. It's definitely, and that was another thing. It's like, before you know it, like, I mean, I'll tell you, like, something kind of embarrassing. Like I would go out sometimes at night, like I'd start my nights at like midnight, go down into town, get drunk. And like, I can recall one night, just like, I wanted to, I had this idea in my head that like, I was going to like run home. Cause at the time I was really big into running, and, running and alcohol don't mix at all.
No,
and
no, probably not.
Busted the fuck out of my knee.
Really?
I woke up. Yeah, I woke up the next day and like it was like all bloody and shit. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
Really?
Yeah. Like,
you didn't remember, or did you remember after like thinking about it?
I have a vague recollection of it.
So like a flash of image in your head, but not the whole experience.
Yeah,
I know how that goes.
Yeah, so, and it was like, and it was weird because like it was a slow buildup to get to that point in my life, but when you're there, you just don't see it as like all that big of a deal because it's just something you're doing. But like when you look back, it's just like, especially now looking back at that, I'm like, holy crap, like I did that. Like, what's wrong with you? What were you thinking, dude? And and so like I wouldn't point to that point especially as like the pivotal moment that I decided to quit, but like that was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
It's just like I had this idea where it's like how can you be your own hero and be so proud of your accomplishments of quitting this one thing if you're still going to be a mess otherwise? Like you don't it doesn't give you a free pass to still do whatever you want and act like an asshole.
The circle wasn't complete. And that can be a hard thing to come to terms with. Right.
Yeah. So in May, I decided I was going to finally quit.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a really tough thing to do.
Yeah.
really tough.
It is. It's I can tell you, like it's another one of those things where you have so many associations and good
Yeah.
associations with
Right.
it.
Good times.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like I wouldn't trade a lot of those days, like early 20s partying at the farm. Like I don't regret those days.
Yeah.
I don't regret any of it. I think some of the most fun times we've had involved drinking, but would I maybe go back and do something differently if I had a chance? Probably. Like I could have been more productive in my 20s. I think about all the mornings I wasted being hungover, all the depression that I could have avoided by just not abusing alcohol so much. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's plenty of things I could have done to help fix my mental stability earlier, but I don't regret the good times. I'm not going to sit here and be like preachy about it and be like, don't drink, because
Right.
you can handle it, go for it. I'm not going to say don't drink. It's fun. But
Yeah.
I got to the point in my life where I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I had to admit that to myself. Um, and I don't know, like it scares me, the idea of like forever. Forever is such a scary concept. It's like,
Hmm.
I liked the thing that kept me going at the beginning was like the option of opting out and always going back. Like if you want to give up, go ahead. It's there. It's not like alcohol is disappearing from your life.
Right.
You know? So that was the thing that kept me going. And to be honest with you, right now, I don't miss it that much. I only time that I really do miss it is like during holidays. And what's going to be kind of tough is May. We might go do that convention again, and it would be the first time.
Oh, yeah. And that's kind of a thing where you get blasted.
Yeah.
So you have to appreciate it in a different way, and
yeah,
maybe it won't be the same, but
yeah,
find another way to appreciate it.
yeah.
I mean, you like the stuff there, so it's not like it wasn't something that you didn't care about at all and you were just going there to get trash. That'd be a different story.
Yeah,
Then you probably wouldn't go at all.
For sure, yeah.
Because there wouldn't be any points, but...
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to make a long story short, I guess my point is that like I am looking forward to my 30s and seeing what it has in store.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a new era.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think for anybody that's maybe going through something like this, like it's not too late. Like take it from me. Like I was a huge fuck up. Okay. Like my early 20s, I didn't know if I was ever going to get it together. And like, if someone like me can turn it around, like you can do it, man. Like whatever you're going through, it's not going to be easy. It's definitely going to there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's going to be days where you just feel like you don't want to do it anymore. But through some of your hardest trials and your biggest pain, you're going to blossom out of that, and you're going to build character. You're going to build mental toughness, and you'll look back at yourself and you won't even believe the person you are.